My friends, my fellow strivers, I see you. I see you in the quiet hours of the night, a brilliant idea burning in your soul, a grand ambition stirring in your heart, yet you are frozen. You stand at the edge of your own magnificent potential, hesitating. You are paralyzed by a venomous whisper, a thought that has crushed more dreams than any tyrant. What if I fail? What if I'm not ready? This hesitation, this modern plague of procrastination, is a thief that steals your future in broad daylight. It convinces you to wait for the perfect moment, the right opportunity, a moment that I tell you will never arrive. It is a prison of your own making, where the bars are forged from doubt, and the lock is rusted with fear. How many of you right now are letting a world-changing project gather dust? How many are silencing the call to lead, to create, to build a business, all while you wait for a sign that will never come? This passive waiting is the death of genius. You were not born to be a passive spectator in the grand arena of life. You were born to be a creator, a mover, a force of nature. The world does not owe you a living or an opportunity. It is a rugged wilderness of possibility that you must tame and cultivate yourself. The great poet Lowell declared a profound truth when he wrote, "No man is born into this world whose work is not born with him." Your purpose, your unique task, is embedded in your very being. It is the fire in your heart and the strength in your hands. Do not be fooled into thinking that success will simply turn up. As President Garfield, a man who understood the mechanics of achievement, put it so bluntly, things don't turn up in this world until somebody turns them up. You must be that somebody. You must be the one to plow the field, to sow the seed, to command the harvest. The world is waiting for you to act. In this address, I will show you precisely how to forge your own opportunity and command your own destiny. So, what is the secret? What is this philosopher's stone that transforms barren difficulty into golden achievement? It is not found in complex formulas or hidden knowledge. It is a set of martial virtues, as the thinker Austin Phelps described: vigilance in watching opportunity, tact and daring in seizing upon opportunity, force and persistence in crowding opportunity to its utmost of possible achievement. This is the mindset of the conqueror, the innovator, the leader. It is a declaration of war against mediocrity and inaction. It is the spirit that bellows from the depths of history in four immortal words: "I will find a way or make one." This is not a suggestion, my friends. It is a command issued from your will to the universe itself. It is the foundational creed of every person who has ever left their mark upon this world. It is the decision, made in an instant, to reject the tyranny of circumstances and become the architect of your own fate. Think not that this power is reserved for the giants of history alone. It is a force available to you, right now, in this very moment. As the poet Burleigh wrote, "There never was a day that did not bring its own opportunity for doing good, that never could have been done before, and never can be again." Every sunrise presents a fresh, untrodden field for your ambition. The question is not whether the opportunity exists, but whether you possess the vision to see it and the courage to seize it. Forget the ghosts of yesterday's failures and the phantoms of tomorrow's anxieties. The great minds do not dwell in the past or the future, they conquer the present. As Goethe urged, "Are you in earnest? Seize this very minute. What you can do or dream you can, begin it." To begin. That is the magic word. Action is the antidote to despair. The smallest step forward, taken with conviction, unleashes a torrent of momentum that can carve canyons through mountains of impossibility. Let me illuminate this principle with a scene of fire and thunder. Picture the scene before the legendary Battle of the Nile. The great Admiral Nelson has gathered his captains. He has devised a plan so audacious, so daring, that it borders on the insane. He plans to sail his fleet into the narrow bay and attack the French from both sides, a maneuver all previous naval doctrine deemed impossible. One of his captains, Captain Barry, thrilled but awestruck, voices the question that echoes in the hearts of all timid souls. He asks, "If we succeed, what will the world say?" What a question! It is the question of the gambler, the man who calculates odds instead of creating certainties. It is the voice of doubt, seeking reassurance before the battle is even joined. Notice the poison in that single word, if. It concedes the possibility of defeat before the first shot is even fired. It is a crack in the armor of will. But Nelson, my friends, was not a man who trafficked in ifs. He was a dealer in absolutes, a master of destiny. His reply was swift, sharp, and magnificent, a thunderclap of pure will that banished all doubt. He thundered back, "There is no thief in the case. That we shall succeed is certain. Who may live to tell thee is a very different question. And do you see the colossal difference in mindset?" He did not hope for victory. He declared it a foregone conclusion. He separated the outcome, which his will had already cemented as certain, from the personal cost, which was secondary. He had already won the battle in his mind. For him, the physical conflict was a mere formality, the playing out of a script he had already written through sheer force of conviction. As his captains departed, he sealed his promise. "Before this time tomorrow I shall have gained a peerage or Westminster Abbey, a victory or a glorious death. No middle ground, no retreat." This is the fire that forges opportunity from the raw ore of impossibility. Now, let us trade the stormy seas for the frozen peaks of the Alps, and witness this same indomitable spirit in another titan of history. I speak of Napoleon Bonaparte. His army is desperately needed in Italy, where his comrades are starving, besieged. Between him and his objective lies an impassable barrier, the dreaded pass of St. Bernard, a wall of rock and ice. He summons his engineers, the experts, the men of science and calculation. He puts to them a simple question, a question that cuts through all complexity. Is it possible to cross the path? Notice he did not ask if it was easy, or safe, or advisable. He asked if it was possible, and what was their reply? The timid, wavering answer of every so-called expert who is more in love with problems than with solutions. They gave him a perhaps. They told him, with hesitation, that it is within the limits of possibility. Within the limits of possibility. Can you imagine? These men saw only obstacles. They presented him with a laundry list of horrors, insurmountable cliffs, treacherous ice, deadly avalanches. They spoke of a path where no wheel had ever rolled, or by any possibility could roll. Their job was to see limits. His job was to see victory. And so, without a moment's hesitation, without dignifying their mountain of doubts, the little corporal gave his legendary command. Lean forward then. 2 words, not a debate, not a committee meeting, not a risk assessment matrix. 2 words of pure, unadulterated will that blasted through their careful calculations. While his enemies, England and Austria, laughed in scorn at the very idea, Napoleon began the work. He understood a vital truth. The expert sees the 1,000 reasons something cannot be done, but the leader sees the one reason it must be done. And what a task it was. An army of 60,000 men, ponderous artillery, tons of cannonballs, and all the bulky munitions of war to be dragged over a frozen hellscape. Imagine the modern equivalent, my friend. You have a brilliant idea for a new technology, a new app, a new service. You go to your consultants, your board, your investors. They tell you the market is saturated. The development costs are too high. The logistics are a nightmare. They are Napoleon's engineers, giving you 1,000 well-reasoned arguments for your inevitable failure. They are the scornful laughter of Austria and England. Every great venture, whether it is crossing the Alps or launching a business, is met with a chorus of impossibility. The difference between the dreamer who fails and the titan who succeeds is the audacity to say forward then, and to begin the grueling work of making a way where none exists. The deed was done. The impossible was accomplished. And what happened next is a lesson for us all. Once the path was carved, some saw that it might have been done long before. After the victory is won, everyone claims they saw the potential. The very same people who called you a fool will now call you a visionary. Others, seeking to justify their own inaction, excuse themselves by calling the obstacles insuperable. They protect their fragile egos by pretending the challenge was unique to you, that you possess some magic they lack. They lie to themselves. They blind themselves to the truth that it was not magic but grit that won the day. It was not a lack of resources but a lack of resolution that held them back. The opportunity was always there, sleeping in the stone, waiting for a master with the will to awaken it. Do not fall for this lie. Listen to me now. The history books tell us that many a commander had possessed the necessary supplies, tools, and rugged soldiers, but lacked the grit and resolution of Bonaparte. This is the crux of the matter. It is never about the resources. It is always about the resourcefulness. It is never about the path. It is always about the will to walk it. The world is filled with talented, intelligent people who have everything they need to succeed, except the one thing that matters most, the internal fire, the absolute, non-negotiable resolution to command success. They wait for the perfect conditions. They wait for funding. They wait for permission. Napoleon did not wait. Out of his very need, the need to save his starving comrades, the need to secure victory, he made and mastered his opportunity. Adversity was not his obstacle, it was his raw material. You may say, but I am not Napoleon, I am not Nelson. These are titans, gods of history. I am just an ordinary person. And I say to you, my friend, you are profoundly mistaken. The same universal law that governed them governs you. The force they commanded was not magic. It was the human will, a force that resides in you at this very moment. The mountain of self-doubt you face in your own life is a greater obstacle than any physical peak. The Alps were mere rock and ice. Your fear is a living, breathing monster that whispers lies in your ear. The same grit that conquered the Alps is the very same force you must summon now to conquer the paralyzing inertia that keeps you from launching your business, from asking for that promotion, from writing that book. The scale of the stage does not matter. The quality of the will is everything. Let me bring this home to you. Think of the young woman in a crowded city, a brilliant coder with an idea for an application that could revolutionize how we connect. She pitches her concept. She pitches her concept. The so-called experts, the venture capitalists, shake their heads. The architecture is impossible, they say. The existing platforms won't support it. They are Napoleon's engineers, obsessed with limitations. They see only the unrolled wheel. Does she retreat? Does she accept their verdict? No. A fire is lit within her. She thinks, I will find a way or make one. She spends months in her small apartment, fueled by coffee and conviction, writing a new kind of code, forging a new digital path. She does not cross the Alps. She builds a bridge through cyberspace, an impossible bridge that the experts said could not exist. Her grit, her resolution, is no different from Bonaparte's. Or consider the small business owner, the proprietor of a beloved local bookstore. One day a terrifying notice goes up. A corporate megastore, a Goliath of retail, is opening across the street. His friends offer their sympathies. You can't compete, they say. It's over. This is his battle of the Nile moment. He sees the enemy fleet arrayed against him, vast and menacing. Does he surrender? Does he listen to the whispers of defeat? No. A Nelson-like certainty seizes him. He declares his own victory. He cannot win on price, so he will not fight that battle. He transforms his store. He makes it a sanctuary of personal service, a community hub with author events, reading clubs for children, and first editions the Goliath would never stock. He turns the enemy's strength, its impersonal scale, into its greatest weakness. He does not just survive, he thrives. He did not wait for an opportunity, he forged one from the heart of adversity itself. This is the battlefield where you now stand. Your career is your campaign. That project you are terrified to pitch to your boss, that is your St. Bernard Pass. Your boss's potential no, and your colleague's skepticism are the scornful laughter of the Austrian court. Will you let it stop you? Or will you marshal your facts, ignite your passion, and say, forward then? That career change you dream of, the one that would fill your life with purpose but seems so risky? That is your opportunity to reject the if and declare your success certain. The fear of uncertainty you feel is the same enemy Nelson faced, just in a different uniform. You must see that these are not mere historical tales. They are living blueprints for your own triumph. You must stop seeing yourself as a pawn of circumstance and start seeing yourself as a commander, the Napoleon of your own life's grand army. And this law extends beyond your career into every corner of your existence. Are you a manager, a leader of a team facing a crisis, a budget cut, a failed product launch? Your team is looking to you. They are Nelson's captains, waiting for a signal. Will you show them doubt, or will you show them certainty? Will you speak of ifs, or will you rally them with a vision of inevitable success, inspiring them to row harder through the storm? Are you a student facing an exam that seems impossible to pass? That is your mountain. Organize your time, marshal your focus, and charge. Do not timidly ask, is it possible to pass? Declare that it is certain and do the work. Every great challenge is a door. From the outside, it looks like a solid wall of granite. But for the one who approaches with force and resolution, it swings open, revealing the sunlit plains of achievement on the other side. So I ask you directly, what holds you back? I will tell you, it is the hypnotic illusion of safety. You believe that by not acting, by not launching, by not taking the risk, you are preserving yourself. You are hiding in the harbor. And your ship is safe in the harbor, is it not? But that is not what ships are built for. A ship in the harbor is a monument to decaying potential. It is safe from the storm, yes, but it is also succumbing to the slow, silent rot of barnacles and rust. Its sails grow mildewed, its hull weakens. My friends, your soul is a mighty vessel, built not for the safety of the shallows, but for the glory of the high seas. You must embrace the storm, for it is in the turbulence of the struggle that you find your true strength and your true purpose. To refuse the voyage is to choose to decay. You must understand that the obstacle is the opportunity. The difficulty is the path. Think of a master sculptor who is given a rough, ugly block of marble. Does he complain about its hardness? Does he bemoan its shapelessness? No, he rejoices. For he knows that within that block, his magnificent statue already exists. The challenge is to chip away everything that is not the masterpiece. The resistance of the stone, the violent shock of the chisel, the dust and the noise, that is not the impediment to his work, that is his work. So it is with you. That difficult project, that fierce competitor, that frightening uncertainty, that is your block of marble. Do not curse its hardness. Pick up your chisel of will and your hammer of resolution, and begin to strike. With every blow, you are not just building a business or a career. You are carving yourself into the heroic figure you were born to be. The battlefield, therefore, is first and foremost within your own mind. There is a traitor in your camp, a voice that constantly whispers of limits, of possibilities, of waiting for a better day. You must declare war on this internal coward. When it whispers perhaps, you must shout forward then. When it asks if, you must answer with certain. You must starve this voice of doubt by feeding the voice of action. And the food of action is the single powerful word, begin. Begin it now. Not when you feel ready. Not when conditions are perfect. Now, in this very minute. The simple act of starting, of taking one small physical step, is a declaration of intent that silences fear. It changes your entire being from a state of anxious paralysis to a state of energized pursuit. You are choosing, in that instant, which future you will inhabit, the one defined by the ghost of what might have been, or the one forged by the reality of what you have done. Look at the young athlete who dreams of making the varsity team. She sees the veterans. They are faster, stronger, more skilled. Her inner engineer tells her it's impossible this year, that she should wait. But a spark of Bonaparte ignites in her soul. She doesn't ask if she can make the team. She decides she will. She begins. She is the first one to the practice field and the last one to leave. She studies films of the greats. She spends an extra hour every day, not conquering the entire sport at once, but mastering one single simple skill. A crossover dribble, a free kick, a corner shot. She doesn't conquer the mountain in one titanic leap. She conquers it by taking one resolute step, then another, and another. Her forward momentum becomes an unstoppable force. The impossible goal, assaulted daily by relentless action, becomes, in the end, absolutely inevitable. That is how you make your own way. Now, feel the energy in this moment. Look around you, here in this digital space, in this gathering of striving souls. You are not alone in your struggle. Every great heart that has ever beaten has felt the chill of fear. Every great mind has heard the whisper of doubt. But you are also not alone in your potential for greatness. The fire I seek to ignite in you is the same fire that can be ignited in the person next to you. You are a legion of wills, an army of potential Napoleons and Nelsons. The courage you summon today can become the inspiration for another tomorrow. Your decision to say forward then to your own private Alps sends a ripple of power out into the world. You are part of a great silent conspiracy of success, a brotherhood and sisterhood of builders, creators, and conquerors. This principle of relentless, focused action is a universal solvent for the impossible. It is the law of accumulation, the simple, earthy magic of turning small, consistent efforts into monumental results. Think of the scientist in her laboratory, facing a disease that has baffled the greatest minds for a generation. Her goal is a cure, a task as daunting as any mountain. Does she wait for a single blinding flash of inspiration? That is a myth for romantic novels. The reality is 1,000 tedious failed experiments. It is the meticulous cataloging of what does not work. Each failure is not a defeat, it is a step forward. It is one more wrong path that she can now eliminate. Her forward, then, is spoken every single morning when she puts on her lab coat. Her victory is not won in a single eureka moment, but is built slowly, patiently, relentlessly, in the quiet courage of her daily grind. You may protest, but these examples require resources I do not have. A laboratory, a business, I tell you. The most powerful laboratory for success is your own mind, and the most crucial resource is your own focus. Consider a young man, trapped in a dead-end job that drains his soul, dreaming of becoming a master graphic designer. He has no money for prestigious schools. He has only a cheap second-hand computer and 1 hour every night after his exhausting shift. Is his situation impossible? The world would say so. But he has the fire. He does not see the mountain of skills he needs to learn. He sees only the first step. For 1 month, his entire focus is on mastering one tool, the pen tool. He draws curves, thousands of them. The next month, it is color theory. He does not try to conquer the world. He conquers one tiny scrap of territory at a time. His grit transforms that 1 hour a day into a more potent force than another man's 4 years of half-hearted study at an expensive university. This very power is what separates the active creator from the passive dreamer. The dreamer sees the entire terrifying chasm between where he is and where he wants to be, and he is paralyzed by the scale of it. The creator sees only the material for the first step of the bridge. That is all. When Napoleon's men had to move ponderous artillery pieces, they did not simply stare at the summit in despair. They disassembled the cannon. They hollowed out logs to cradle the pieces. They harnessed 100 men to a single gun and moved it inch by agonizing inch. Their focus was not on the peak, it was on the next foot of ground. You must do the same. Do not be hypnotized by the size of your ambition. That is a trap. Break it down. Dismantle your grand vision into its smallest possible components, and then pour all of your force and resolution into conquering that first, tiny piece. Let me ask you, what is the most powerful force in the physical universe? Is it the hurricane, the earthquake, the tsunami? No. It is the silent, persistent, inexorable force of a tiny seed growing. It contains a command, grow. And it exerts its will against all obstacles. It will split solid rock, overturn pavement, seeking the sun. It does not ask for permission. It does not wait for ideal conditions. It leverages the resources it has with a single-minded purpose. You, my friend, are that seed. Your grand idea, your ambition, is the genetic code within you. To procrastinate, to doubt, to wait, that is to refuse to germinate. It is the most unnatural act of all. You must begin to push. You must exert that silent, internal, persistent pressure against the hard soil of your circumstances. You will be astonished at what powerful rocks of impossibility you can split asunder, simply by deciding to grow. Now bring this into your daily life. Your team is given a sales target that seems utterly ludicrous. The team morale plummets. They are Napoleon's engineers, sighing perhaps. As their leader, you are Napoleon. You must reject their calculations of defeat. You must break the impossible number down. This number is a mountain, you say, but we will not climb it in a day. We will climb it in inches. This month we focus on just one thing, one more phone call per person per day. That's it. That is the only battle. We will win that battle. You have reframed the narrative from one of overwhelming odds to one of a small, achievable, daily victory. You have given them not a terrifying summit to conquer, but a single log to carry. By accumulating these small, certain victories, you build momentum, you build belief, and you make the impossible target not only possible, but inevitable. You did not find an opportunity, you manufactured it out of bad news and low morale. And so, we arrive at the great crossroad of your destiny. It is here, at this very moment, that a choice must be made. Before you lie two paths. One is the broad, well-trodden road of the masses, the path of the excuse maker, the fault finder, the eternal victim of circumstance. It is paved with ifs and perhapses, and it leads to the gray, desolate land of regret, a place haunted by the ghosts of splendid might-have-beens. The other path is steep, rugged, and uncharted. It is the path of the will. It is the path of Bonaparte, of Nelson, of every soul who dared to declare their own triumph. There are no guarantees on this path, only opportunities. There is no safety, only the glorious risk of a life lived at its fullest voltage. You must choose. Will you be a creature of circumstance, or will you be its creator? Will you be a slave to your conditions, or will you be the master of your destiny? Therefore, I charge you now, go from this place, not as a mere listener, but as a convert and a crusader. I want you to identify your Alps. What is it? That business you have dreamed of? That book you have not written? That leadership role you have shirked? Identify it, see it clearly in your mind's eye. Do not measure its height or catalog its dangers. Look upon it as Napoleon looked upon his mountain, as raw material for your triumph. And then, I command you to take one single, concrete step, today. Not tomorrow, not next week. Today, make the phone call, write the first page, register the domain name, buy the book. Do one thing, however small, that announces to the universe and to yourself that you have chosen. This act will be your forward then. It will be a cannon shot that begins your battle of the Nile. It is the moment you stop asking for permission to succeed and start manufacturing your own victory. And you will not walk this path alone. You are now part of this great legion of striving souls. Therefore, your victories are not yours alone to savor. They are fuel for the hearts of others. I charge you with this sacred duty. When you succeed, when your grit and resolution have turned your private impossibility into a public reality, you must return here. Come back and share your story of triumph. Do not do it for vanity. Do it as a testament to the power of the human will. Tell us of the mountain you faced, the doubts you conquered, and the first step you took. Your story will become a lighthouse for another soul lost in the fog of hesitation. It will be the evidence that proves the truth of these principles. You will inspire and uplift others in this community, creating a rising tide of achievement that lifts us all. To those of you who stand now at the foot of your mountain, feeling the chill of the long shadow it casts, I have a special invitation. Do not suffer in silence, for that is the breeding ground of doubt. Instead, take a courageous step. Leave a comment below. Describe the challenge you are facing. Declare the impossible goal you are setting for yourself. This is not a cry for help. It is a warrior's roar. It is a psychological milestone. By writing it down, by making it public in this company of fellow strivers, you are planting your flag. You are drawing a line in the sand. You are turning a vague fear into a tangible objective that can be assaulted. Let this act be your first piece of evidence that your will is now in command. This community will be your council of captains, not to offer doubt, but to offer encouragement for the victory that you have already declared is certain. My friends, my comrades, my fellow architects of destiny, the power is in you, the work is born with you. The opportunity is not a distant mirage, it is a block of uncarved stone at your feet. Hesitation is the only enemy. Action is the only ally. The universe does not reward the timid. It yields to the bold. It conspires with the determined. Go now. Find your way or make one. Seize this very minute and begin. Let the fire of a relentless purpose burn away every trace of doubt. Let the thunder of your own will be the only voice you heed. Forge your opportunity, command your success, and build a life that will stand as a blazing monument to what is possible when a human soul decides to become a force of nature. Your glorious victory is certain.